Welcome to 100 Yards of Football. It's our college football game of the week, and it's coming out of the SEC. The Ole Miss Rebels taking on the Florida Gators. So if you like the video today, please come in and share here on 100 Yards of Football. I'm your host, Vincent Turner, and joining me today is the legend, two-time All-American at Florida State University, 12-year veteran of the Atlanta Falcons, Mr. Bobby Butler, as we're going to break down the Rebels and the Gators. If you like the video, please come in and share it, because we're finna take it to the highest level when we're talking football today here on 100 Yards of Football. So, Brother Butler, take us away and talk about the Ole Miss Rebels.
Well, first of all, let's just say it's a great weekend, man, because the SEC finna get underway. I mean, we're getting ready to play football now, right? So everybody started a couple weeks before, but we're getting ready to play football now.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
It's very surprising, you being an ACC man, that you would say that about the SEC.
Well, I'm like this. I will always be truthful, and I always tell people this. The SEC is the best football conference in the country, but it don't ever mean they got the best football team in the country. So that's not get twisted. All right. Well, let's talk about Ole Miss, Vincent. And they got a new head coach, Mr. Lane Kiffin. And, despite the recent struggles they've had, in the SEC West, the addition of Lane Kiffin make a team, give them an opportunity to be a better program. He's got some serious play calling ability. And everywhere he's gone, he's proven that, right? A lot of people don't know that he was Pete Carroll's offensive coordinator at Southern Cal when Reggie Bush, when they won national titles. And he's a great play caller, right? He was at Alabama a couple of years, won a title. And so he's a great play caller. But here's the thing I like to say about the SEC, period. Every team in the SEC has got players. Now, everybody don't have the players Georgia and Alabama have, but they got players. And this Ole Miss program has got players. On the defensive side, their two linebackers, Jaquez Jones and Lakia Henry, they're going to bring the pain this year, right? I look for them to have a great game against the Florida Gators this week. Also, you got Tarkeas Tisdale, defensive end. He's a threat every time he put his hand in the dirt. And then you got John Haynes at safety, Vincent. You can't do it. A great leader back there, and I'm telling you, this game, listen to this now, this game has upset potential in it. Why? Well, let's talk about the quarterback. First of all, John Rice Plumlee is entering his second year. Last year he played as a freshman, came in, he did pretty good. Now, he's coming into his second year. He's got a little season on his belt, but now he's got a play caller. He's got a head coach who knows what to do with the offense. They just hired the offensive coordinator from Central Florida. We know they're going to play at a fast pace. It's going to be a different rhythm on this offense. And with Lane Kiffin play calling, it's going to be crazy. Now, here's the thing. Here's why I say this can be a potential upset game. Here's the reason why. Historically, the Florida Gators have struggled with dual threat quarterbacks. Now, remember, Plumlee last year rushed for over 1,000 yards. He threw for 920. Just say he threw for 1,000 yards. Let's go ahead and give it to him. He threw for 1,000 yards. He rushed for 1,000 yards. The Florida Gators defenses in the last few years have struggled when they had to confront guys like Plumlee. All right? So if Florida is unable to account for the rushing abilities of Plumlee, the same way they were unable to do so for Terry Wilson. I don't know if you remember Terry Wilson at Kentucky a couple years ago, 2018. He had 105 yards rushing, all right? And they beat Florida. So I'm going to tell you this. The way Plumlee played, he plays at a different level than even Terry Wilson did a couple years ago. This can be a major problem for the Florida defense. So I'm just telling you right now, right? And here's the thing. And then you add with the dual threat ability that he has, and then you got Lane Kiffin play calling, man. Bro, this can be a nightmare for Florida. This can be a nightmare for Florida now. The first week. All right. So here's the other thing. Florida don't have no more. They don't have C.J. Henderson. He's tearing it up in the NFL, by the way. That was your man. He's tearing it up, by the way. They don't have Jonathan Greenard no more, rushing, and they don't have Jabari Zanugi rushing the ball. But they do have Zachary Carter and Brenton Cox, who transferred from the University of Georgia. I still try to wrap my mind around a Georgia transfer at Florida. But anyway, they're going to have to step it up. They're going to have to step it up. And like I say, if they can't deal with Plumlee's ability to run the football and throw the football, because he's got some weapons on offense with him, wide receiver Elijah Moore can go get it. He can flat out go get it, Vincent. And then Jerron Ely, the running back, Jerron Ely, listen, man, he's got people around him. This game has upset potential in it. And so I'm going with the Rebels. I'm taking the Rebels in this game, Vincent. I'm going to take them 28-21. It's going to start the season off. The biggest upset in the SEC this week, Ole Miss over the Florida Gators.
If you like the video today, please comment and share it. We are 100 Yards Football. Well, Brother Butler, I see you brought up good points about the Ole Miss Rebels, but I'm going to take you back in the time zone. 2008, Tim Tebow, you feel me? Brandon Spikes, Jadarius Jenkins, Aaron Hernandez. This Florida team is similar to that team right there. And they got a coach that was on that staff by the name, I think his name Dan Mullen. In his 2 years, when he took the job in Florida, he didn't hesitate. He didn't bite his tongue. What did he say at the press conference? I'm going to restore Gator Nation back to where we were back in 2007 and winning national championships. Well, after 2 years, he's 21-5. Mm-hmm. Finished the season ranked in the top 10 both years. But this is the caveat why this year is going to be very special. And a statement going to be made on Saturday. Florida, over the last 4 or 5 years, has not had great quarterback play. But this year, what's going to make the Gators tough, they're returning the best quarterback that played last year that's returning as a starter, the young Texan out of Marvel, Texas, 30 miles out of Houston by the name of Carl Trask. And look what he did with that offense last year. 3,000 yards, 25 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. But they say offensively, he lost all his receivers who went to the NFL draft. Van Jefferson is doing a great job with the Rams. Freddie Swain is doing his thing in Seattle. But he does return the best tight end in the country. Brother Butler, I know you know his name because you're from the state of Florida, Florida State alum. You keep it with all these players. The name Kyle Pitts. Probably the best prospect. I'm talking about on the level of Tony Gonzalez. Don't worry about the receivers because at Florida, you just said it with your legend video with Barry Smith. Y'all got athletes. Well, at the receiver position, they do return Trevon Grimes, Jacob Copeland, who might be the best receiver out of the mile, 6'1", 210, 4'4". Can bench press 400 pounds. They got the transfer of former 5-star coming over from Penn State, Justin Shorter. Then they returned 3 starters on the offensive line. And they got a grad transfer, I think it was all conference by the name of Stuart Reese out of Mississippi State, who played for Coach Mullen a couple of years ago. Now they question the running back position. They did lose LaMichael Pirine. But don't forget it, they still got Damian Pierce. They still got a 5-star that's coming from the University of Miami that's going to be eligible, Lorenzo Lingard, and you should know about him because your school recruited him heavy by the name of Florida State. But saying all that, I'm going to end it short and sweet. The defense, the Gators, that's what they're about. Take you back in time capsule. Jack Youngblood, David Galloway, David Little, Louis Oliver, Wilbert Marshall, Jarvis Williams, Devon Kearse. They always going to have great defensive players. Brendan Cox, I'm sorry, Dog Nation. As Brother Butler said, I don't know how in the world y'all let that talent get out. because they say he's been the best defensive player in preseason practice, and he might be one of the best that's ever played that defensive end position. Don't worry about y'all losing Jonathan Grinyard, because Brendan Cox going to make you forget about him. Zachary Carter, who had 5 sacks last year, he going to make you forget about him. They got a great defensive lineman, head recruited kid, Grayvon Dexter. You should know about him, Brother Butler. Florida State wanted him real bad. 6'7", 290 pounds. Might be the best defensive tackle that came out of the state of Florida by the name of Warren Sapp. And then we're going to talk about their secondary. So you try to throw a little tidbit about them losing C.J. Henderson, which is my favorite player. But hey, they still got Marco Wilson. Last time, matter of fact, I checked last night.
He's a bad
NFL
boy.
draft board. 21st selection overall for the 2021 draft. But he's not the best defensive back. Kier Elam. Remember his cousin a couple of years ago, 2013, Matt? Last year, everybody was saying Derek Stingley out of LSU was the best defensive back in the country as a freshman. But I don't know. You put on the game film with Mr. Elam, and you might disagree. And they got all their safeties coming back that's going to play in the league. Donovan Stinger, Brad Stewart, Sean Davis. The Gator defense is going to roll. So that being said, I'm in it short and quickly. If you think Florida is going to take a step back, they coming. And this is this year with the pandemic and how things setting up, they only got 2 teams to worry about. That's Georgia and LSU. So what I'm saying is on Saturday, 35-17 the Gators, and they're going to be ready to play. And after that game, you know what's the talk in the SEC? Everybody here in Atlanta, when we broadcast our show, are talking about Georgia. Georgia got better talent. Everybody talking about maybe Tennessee taking a step. But the one caveat y'all better realize, they got Carl Trask, the Texan, coming back who threw for 3,000 yards, 25 touchdowns, 7 INTs. And the last time I checked, he looked pretty good directing that Florida offense. It reminds me of 2007. Do I have to say it no more? Tim Tebow, Aaron Hernandez, Chris Rainey, Brandon Spikes. Do I have to say it no more? We know how that ended up. Florida 27, Oklahoma 14, national champion. Final words, Brother Butler.
Well, I'm still taking the upset. I'm still taking the upset. You sound good. All that's pretty. All that's pretty. But these boys from Mississippi, one thing I can tell you about Mississippi, they supposed to be in the SEC because that's blue collar nation. Blue collar nation. They're going to work. Every kid on this roster wanted to go to Florida. Every kid on this roster wanted to go to LSU. Every kid on this roster wanted to go to Georgia, but they didn't want them. So what they wanted to do, they wanted to go and compete against Florida, Georgia, Alabama, LSU. Hey, it's their time to shine. And Mr. Plumlee, I'm telling you, remember we talked about today. They're going to have...
My final words, you are correct. Mississippi's a blue-collar state. One of my parents from Chester, Nancy says, one of them states that, hey, they do something with the water down there. But however, it's Gator Nation. And like the great poet Marvin Gaye, let's get it on. It's SEC football, baby. Be blessed this weekend.